Today, I'm going to show you how to use my favorite financial planning tool, Projection Lab. This is not a sponsored post. I believe everyone should feel comfortable modeling different scenarios to better understand their financial future. The best place to start with Projection Lab is to actually choose an example persona. Let's start with a mid career and married scenario. Once you select this and hit confirm, it'll actually take you to a screen where it has fake finances for an assumed couple. This will show you current net worth as well as assets, any cash or stocks and investments that they own. And there's an example plan that kind of gives you a rough overview of what their increase in income will look like, what their expected expenses are, and project out what their net worth is over time. I like to start with an example already filled out so you can kind of understand how detailed the different income, expenses, cash flow assumptions are in order for you to build your own plan. What we're going to do now is actually create a conservative plan using this example scenario. What we'll really do is actually change the inflation rate to mirror what we saw in the past 50 years, which is roughly around 3.81% annually. Dividend will adjust down to 2%, and the investment growth rate will actually bring down closer to 4%, 5%, so that we get a real rate of return around 3 to 4%. The real rate of return over the past 50 years is roughly 8 to 9% annually. The reason why we want to aim for 3 to 4% is really for this conservative scenario. We are really assuming if the economy does not mirror the past 50 years and the growth rate is half of what we've seen, what does our financial future look like? Now, with those adjusted, we can take a look at the income assumptions and the expense assumptions that were already in this plan. What's nice here is that you can essentially make assumptions in terms of your annual increases in income and cap it at a certain income level. What's also nice here is that the expenses reflect some additional expenses that you'll see most likely post retirement, which is the additional healthcare costs. While you're 65, you do get access to Medicare. If you decide to retire earlier, for example, you may also need to buy healthcare from a marketplace, which will cost you money separately. What I also love here are the assumptions around an annual vacation, the expected living expenses, as well as the assumption of having a child. So once you decide to start a family, for example, you can actually input the cost of how much it might be to deliver the child, the ongoing costs of having a child, and make assumptions into your financial plan to see how this works for you. The one tool that I really like in Projection Lab is the Monte Carlo distribution. What it does is take a look at 194 different time periods in the past and project out whether your net worth can sustain the rest of your life based on the different historical scenarios and time frames. What's great here is you can get a sense of whether or not your current plan is able to kind of survive even the toughest of times. Right here, you see a 92% chance of success. It'll actually give you details on which trials you failed and at what time you failed, whether it's in the middle of the plan, whether you almost made it but didn't fully quite get there, but it gives you a good probability of the likelihood that your plan will succeed. The odds are if your plan is at least 90% chance of success, you have a pretty good odds in terms of surviving most of the financial scenarios. Really, this tool works best when you are hands-on and you try different scenarios, change some numbers, and really get a feel for how it works. Once you start feeling confident in the test scenario, this is when I encourage you to get your own profile and input your own numbers. Like this video, hit the like button and subscribe to my channel for more personal finance and FIRE related topics.